Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newsnight. My name is Charles Odongtho, and this evening, back here as usual, is old man of the clan, is Andrew Mwenda, the CEO of the independent news magazine. Andrew, you're most welcome back.
Thank you.
So I'm told you were complaining to the producers that you had to wear this time a yellow bow tie, that I complained you have only one.
Oh, it's just modern fashion.
You it is your fans who complained.
You must wear something that is shouting and clashing. Two elements. And I'm 101 years now, but I want to look 19.
Wow. Now, let's
just maybe also ask you a question. Yeah. Everybody we know in Uganda is called Odongo. Why are you called Odongo Tho? Why do they add their
It is not Odongo Tho. And the Tho is not an addition. It's Odong Tho.
Odong Tho.
It's a name which I take from my dad. The only name in this country.
I have been wondering what the problem is. I think the problem is that name.
No, I think, Andrew, if I were to explain the origin of that name, we would take 5 minutes here because it has a history to it from my grandmother. But for today, the East African Standard Gauge Railway Line, the biggest project in East Africa, I think, since independence, I think since the 60s. What is the implication of this on the East African economy?
Actually, I think you are right. This is a game changer. You see, you should always look at things that can change this country. One of them is investment in railways. I don't have the figures offhand, but to move a container from Mombasa to Kampala on a lorry, if it costs you $400, it will cost you less than $190 to move it by railway. So one, it reduces costs, but two, it eases the pressure you have on the roads. Investment in roads is one of the most expensive things, and our roads are getting destroyed every day by the movement of heavy trucks on them. Yeah. Not only getting destroyed because of the weight of the trucks, but they also the trucks are congesting the roads. Yeah. And if you want to increase productivity, you must make movement quicker and faster so that people can easily. Remember that the railway gives you the following things. It will make the movement of goods from Mombasa to Kigali or to Kampala faster, cheaper, and at the same time release the roads to be used by other motorists so that they can also move faster. The second thing Uganda needs to invest in, of course, is water transport. But you need
also to be telling the viewer out there that this is still a Kenyan thing. Uganda is going to follow later, isn't it?
No.
They have started with Kenya, the Exim Bank.
It's not that they've started with Kenya. It is simply that Kenya, because they have greater bureaucratic competences, and I think Kenya does not have the kind of political gridlock that we have in Uganda. They were able to sign fast. But
they are
Uganda,
more serious as a country, probably.
Maybe. You see, countries have they can use a particular speed to achieve goals depending on the nature of the internal political contestations. In Uganda already, the Ministry of Works has entered an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, with a large railway construction company from China, which is supposed to build the railway from
Nairobi?
Not from Nairobi, from the border here at Malaba, all the way to Katuna, with a spin-off from Kampala to Juba, rather to Nimule, where it would connect with Juba. Now, if you
the northern corridor, the one they talk about.
So, if you have that railway, because you see, first, our economies are growing at a rate of over 7% per year. Two, our populations are growing. So, you are not only growing incomes, but you are growing the number of consumers. High-income consumers or middle-income consumers. That requires a massive movement of goods using the road. Now, if you put in the railway, that is a game changer, because what it does is it gives you what we call productivity gains. When I said that you are going to achieve a price performance ratio of 1 to 2, in the sense that you are going to reduce the cost by more than 50%, while at the same time increase the speed by 200%. So that what it gives you is what we call productivity gains, because the factors of production are costing less at double. They are costing half the price. You get double performance at half the price.
Let's look at the timing of this and the political implications of it. While this was being signed, witnessed by the Chinese Prime Minister, on the other side of Angola or DRC, the American Secretary of State was traveling, and the Chinese are saying for them they are going to be giving aid without much, conditionalities, while the Americans are pushing. What does it mean for the...
I think that the Western countries are not going to change the game here. China is going to change the game. Why? Because if you increase incomes of people here, and if you sustain economic growth and have a large and growing middle class, that is the social infrastructure that will promote democratic politics. The Americans make a mistake to think that you can introduce democracy in a poor country. If you introduce democracy in a poor country, Uganda is a fairly democratic country. At its level of per capita income, when Britain was Uganda's per capita income, or the United States, or any country in the world that I know, in the Western world, they do not have the level of democracy that Uganda has. And a lot of Uganda's governance gridlock emerges from that mismatch between the level of per capita income and the level of social economic development and the amount of individual freedom that people are able to command and exercise.
Now, there is another thing that people have
so
been
don't
asking.
put Charles, it is like this: don't put the cart before the horse. Anything that promotes growth of the economy and the development of a middle class is good for democracy. Even if a dictator did so anyway, South Korea and Taiwan had very rough dictators than Museveni can ever attempt to be. What happened? The more they promoted industrial growth and transformation, the more they produced a working class, a student movement, a youth movement, a middle class, and a business class, all of which started agitating for democratic
Before we wind up, we cannot miss out the issue on Tanzania. People are asking, can you have an East African community in its true form without Tanzania? After all, even the headquarters is in Arusha in Tanzanian land, but Kikwete is missing from all these major concession agreements. I think that Tanzania
is a very important player.
What's happening?
Why are they being left out? In the success of the East African community. But I think that Tanzania does not seem to be ready to move at a good speed as these other countries. And that's why I'm saying the coalition of the willing was a very important innovation. Tanzania is trying to establish greater links with SADC rather than with the East African community. And it is increasingly becoming a drag on the speed at which East African community members can achieve certain objectives. Let me ask you this, Charles. With all due respect to the government of Tanzania, if your partners want to get a railway today, and for you are trying to delay them for the next 20 years, what should they do?
We should be asking them that, let us start. That would be the natural thing to do. Let us start. You will get us when you come.
Yes.
But also, observers will be asking, but why is Charles and the group not...
In fact, the coalition of the willing are saying, look, if Tanzania are not ready, it's okay. Rather than do it within the framework of the East African community, we can promote some of these projects within the framework of COW, which is a coalition of the willing. And when Tanzania is ready, you are welcome to join. Even the World Bank, rather the African Development Bank, is financing an electricity transmission project, whereby they will be building high voltage transmission lines that can take electricity from here to Tanzania, to Burundi, to Rwanda, and to Kenya. So Uganda can become a major exporter of electricity as a service. But this is what the coalition of the willing are saying: if Tanzania are not ready, for us, you're going to build the infrastructure up to your border. Anytime you are ready within your own internal political system to come on board, we will just have the wires running to Dar es Salaam.
Well, that is the Newsnight. My name is Charles Odongso. Good evening.